Good morning, my dear students. Today we are learning two more cell organelles, continuity of yesterday's one. So today the ribosome is one cell organelle and another one is the cytoskeleton and another is cilia and flagella. The three different you are going to be studying the structure of the cell. So let us first we will go for study about these ribosomes. So ribosomes are the membrane boundless cell organelle. Means they do not covered with the help of any membrane. So they are a membrane boundless cell organelle and first time discovered by a scientist called as George Pallade. So G. Pallade or George Pallade in the year 1953 he have been discovered these ribosomes. And these ribosomes are mainly made up with the two important chemical components, one called as RNA, ribose nucleic acid, and another part is protein. So protein along with the ribose nucleic acid forming a ribosome. And ribosomes are of two types, you know very well on the basis of the cell. In prokaryote, the ribosomes are 70 S. Here we are using the S. S is a unit used to measure the ribosome, and S is nothing but Swedberg. Swedberg is the unit used to measure the ribosome, and it is helpful for measuring the sediment coefficient of ribosome. Sediment coefficient of ribosome is measured with the help of a unit called as a Swedberg. So 70S type of ribosomes are present in prokaryote, whereas in eukaryote they are of 80S. Whereas these ribosomes are consist of two subunits like this. One is the smaller subunit and another one is a larger subunit. So smaller subunit and larger subunit will be separately present in the cytoplasm of the cell, and they combine together only during the protein synthesis. This point is very important. You never get these points in your textbooks, but such basic questions will be asked in your NEET level. That's all. So attending class is very important. So only regular students can crack in a NEET level because of these points when they will keep it in the mind. So let me to tell you once again that you are studying ribosomes. Point number one, ribosomes are membrane boundless cell organelle. Point number two, they have been discovered by George Pallade in the year 1953, and ribosomes are mainly made up of RNA as well as a protein. And ribosomes are of two types. In prokaryote they are of 70S and in eukaryote they are of 80S. And S stands for a unit called as a Swedberg, and it is used to measure the sediment coefficient of ribosomes. And these are made up of the two subunit, the smaller subunit and larger subunit. And smaller subunit and larger subunit are present separately in the cytoplasm of the cell, and they come in contact with one another only during the protein synthesis. That is called as a translation. That in second PUC you will learn in detail what do you mean by the translation. So biosynthesis of a protein from mRNA is called as a translation. During that translation, these ribosomal subunit will come in contact with one another. So this smaller subunit is usually 30S and this is of 50S. Sorry, 40S and it is of 50S in prokaryote. Whereas in eukaryote it is also of a different. So in that way you are going to study about this ribosome. And the most important function of the ribosome is they are called as a protein factory of the cell. What does it mean? They are responsible for production of proteins. They are used to produce protein. It may be many different type of proteins we are synthesizing in the human body. So that is the function. So it is a most important question for 1 month. Name the cell organelle or name protein factory of the cell. Just ribosome. Whereas the second structure called as a cytoskeleton. Cytoskeleton is not a cell organelle. Remember, cyto means cell. Skeleton means bone-like structure which gives frame to the cell. Cell has its own shape, like we have a body proper shape that is due to the skeletal system present in the human being. Like the same, every cell has its skeletal system, and that skeleton is made up of protein tubules. And these tubules are microtubules and macrotubules. And these tubules are mainly made up of the protein called as tubulin. This is most important for neat label. Tubulin is a protein present in the microtubules which are responsible for the formation of cytoskeleton. And this gives shape to the cell. That's all. Say for example, consider this is a cell, the animal cell, and it has a nucleus and rest of the cell organelle will be there. This is said to be as the microtubules. These are the microtubules and they are made up of a protein called as a tubulin which gives frame to the cell. That is why cell have a proper shape due to cytoskeleton. Then next cell organ called as cilia and flagella. So cilia and flagella are present in not all the cells but typically a different cells. Say for example, cilia are many in a number, whereas a flagella is a single or a double. Say for example, cilia, if you go for considering the paramecium like this is the paramecium and it has a hair-like structure and this is called as cilia. And if you will go for taking a bacteria in this way, and a bacteria will have a flagella. So these cilia, imagine that this is a paramecium and these are the cilia. If they will flap front, body moves back. If they flap front, back, body moves front. So flapping. And if they go for top and down also like this, if they flap down, body goes up. In this way, they are responsible for movement of an organism or movement of a cell. So cilia and flagella. So let us, we will go for study. We are learning flagella, not about the cilia. Structure is almost different, slightly different, but both the structure is like this. What actually is? Let us see. You are looking over here. This is the structure of either the cilia or the flagella. It is the structure of flagella. And the flagella consists of one tubule and this is the second tubule. This is the one. One tubule and the second tubule. This is the second. Tubules, 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 tubule, 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 tubule. So like such 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 tubules were there. 9 tubules of double egg. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 like that. 9 tubules with doublet. So this is a neat level question they will ask. 9 plus 2 is the doublet of flagella. Right? And these are mainly made up of with the protein called as a tubulin, as I said. These are the tubules. 9 tubules are present. 9 tubules are present in a doublet. 9 tubules are present in a doublet, so called as 9 doublets. And each tubule is connected with the help of a stalk-like structure called as radial spoke. This is called as a radial spoke. This is the radial spoke, radial spoke, radial spoke, radial spoke. And this radial spoke is connected to this core material, and this is called as a what you can call it as central sheath. This is called as a central sheath. And these radial spokes attaching to the central sheath along with the 9 of doublet. And at the center there will be the presence of another 2 tubules, that is called as a central microtubule. So central microtubules are surrounded by a sheath called as a central sheath. And around this central sheath there is a presence of 9 plus 2 microtubules, and these 9 plus 2 microtubules are attached to the central sheath by the help of a spoke called as a radial spoke. And inside this central sheath there will be a central microtubules in two with the interconnected bridge. And these peripheral microtubules, these are microtubules called as the peripheral microtubules, and these are the microtubules called as the central microtubules, right? And these peripheral microtubules are connected with one another by the help of such a bridge called as interdoublet bridge. Each one is called as interdoublet bridge. So let me to tell you once again, my dear students, you are learning cilia and flagella. So these are helpful for making the locomotion. Locomotion means movement from one place to the another place in search of food and reproduction. That's all. Whereas it is consists of two important structure, two type of tubules, peripheral microtubules and central microtubules. There are 9 peripheral microtubules are present in a doublet. 9 peripheral microtubules are present in a doublet. And these peripheral microtubules are connecting to the central sheath by the help of a radial spoke. And inside the radial spoke, central sheath, there presence of a central microtubules. And this entire structure is covered by the help of plasma membrane. That's all. And these are helpful for making the movement. Sometimes this question is going to be asked for a 2 mark or 3 mark for draw a neat level diagram of flagella. In a neat level 9 plus 2 doublet. A neat level made up of the protein called as a tubulin. The microtubules are mainly made up of the protein called as a tubulin. That's all. The rest of others we will go for study it into the next. I hope you have been understand these concepts. Okay, thank you one and all.